Welcome to my 2024 Fall Wilderness Canoe Trip Adventure. Join me and my son Cameron as we travel into the rugged wilds of the Tobeatic Wilderness area in southwestern Nova Scotia. This trip, our planned journey, takes us from Low Landing on Lake Rossignol to Spectacle Lake and back. Experience the raw, unfiltered beauty of East Coast Canadian nature as we make our way through water and woods, see some wildlife, and endure and adapt to some trials along the way. This is what camping is all about. We woke up Monday morning to a thick gray sky. I had a comfortable sleep on my beach site, but Cameron didn't fare as well as his air mattress was not holding air. I had noticed that my mattress wasn't as firm as it had been the last couple of nights either. So we headed out on the lake for where we believed the carry to Boot Lake to be. This was brand new territory for us, as previously we'd never been past the beach on Little Tobeatic Lake. Well, we made it up the lake to the cove, and this is all new territory. And here we are in a finger of the lake. We were advised to take the old road. You can see the canoe, we got it up out of the water. Cameron's up there at the campsite that we were told that was there. Anyway, we were advised to take the road, not the traditional carry. From folks that had done it before, the carry's been obscured by some wood cutting, I think, is what I understand. But anyway, we're very excited to find a tag because we were worried about finding the old road here. We got an old campsite. Hasn't been used for, man, we got a lawn growing in the fire pit. It's been many, many years since this was used, I'd say. Pretty nice looking spot though. Cameron and I are very excited to head over to Boot. There's a blaze on a tree right there. Anyway, let me flip this around here. Give you a little morning commentary. So it's Monday morning. All my folks are at work while I'm out in the woods. Hi guys. And we decided to change our trip yesterday. And the reason we decided was every single thing in my plan seemed to be taking just a little bit longer. Not a whole lot longer, but just a little bit longer than I expected from just everything. I'm worried about our days going out. I want the trip to be fun. Cameron and I are sore and tired. We had a huge day Saturday. Maybe probably one of the biggest travel days I've ever had in the Tobeatic, and here I am pushing 50. Decided to do my biggest day ever. Anyway, it was fine and we did all right, but I just want to shorten those days going out, so we've decided to change our directive, our prerogative. And basically the most important thing was to get to Little Tobeatic Lake anyway. That's why I really wanted to see that again and hang out on the beach, which we're doing. So we decided to stay an extra night there and to not travel any farther and then start heading our way back out. So we won't see Spectacle Lake this time, but we'll see it on another trip. Hopefully we'll plan another trip to get in there from a different direction maybe. But we are planning to go see Boot Lake. So that's where we are right now on, I guess we'll call it Route 2. Not the Andy way, which is he's got written in his book. So this is a different way that we're going to try. So enough of me yakking. Let's get on the trail. So we're planning to just go for the day, spend 2 nights in a row here. Go for the day over to Boot Lake just to see it, see if we can find the campsite, and then just walk back to carry no gear and stay again the second night here. The next morning, get up, 2500, supposed to pour rain, and we'll stay at Bats Rest Camp on Tobeatic Lake again because they're calling for rain, so that's where we're planning to stay. We'll get up the next morning after that. We'll do the 6-kilometer paddle up. We'll go across the little short carry to Little Tupper, paddle Little Tupper, 800-meter carry out to Sand Brook. And rather than go down, we're going to paddle up Sand Lake, and we're going to stay up here, right on where the Shelburne comes in. See if I can get that right here. We'll stay right here. And then hopefully we can go to explore a little bit, walk the old road, which I've wanted to do for a while, and go see Dunn Lake on the old road. And if we can, the road continues on and goes, actually it used to cross the Shelburne River once upon a time, so we may see if we can find that too. Back to the campsite. Then we're going to go down the following day, down Sand Lake, down the lower Shelburne, around the 1,000 meter carry around the research station in Pollard's Falls, and stay another night at Kempton Falls, and then the next day head out, paddle up Rossignol, up into the Mersey River, stay on the Mersey River campsite like we had planned, and then out on Saturday morning to Low Landing in the truck where we drive out. Well, more excitement. I'm not sure what this is going to be like, but there's the road we just came up. We just hit a full-fledged road. I was told by one person the road was so good you could drive a truck up it. And it had to be a small truck, but that's pretty open. Anyway, let's head to Boot. To say I was excited would be an understatement. Here's the road we're following. It hasn't seen a vehicle for quite some time. We're just kind of flagging it as a better section. Just talking to myself, my best friend. Yeah, except for the road. Yeah. You see the wheel track? Yeah. Well, we meandered down a couple of trails. We found out that there's roads everywhere, and so far we've gotten nowheres. We've been, what, 45 minutes probably? 45 minutes, and we found the elusive blue ribbon. So the other road that we were on had blue ribbons as well and seemed to go and stop, and we fanned all around it looking for a spot. We trudged back, taking off our markers. Well, there was already markers there, and we thought, maybe we're not going to make it. And then on the way back to do a little more exploring on the road, we find this amazing thing, basically running parallel with one we just took. That is also moving in the right direction. So we're going to try this one out. Cameron and I have renewed vigor that eventually, hopefully by supper time, we'll at least get to put our boots in the water of Boot Lake. So this is a friggin' wide open road here. Oh, more blue ribbon. See it? Blue ribbon. Well, in our stupidity of going the wrong way, we missed the wide open road somehow. Followed the one that you could barely walk to nothing. Now we've come up onto a real, a real truck road for logging at one point in time, which is super easy walking. And from the maps and stuff that we have, we're pretty sure we pieced together where we are. And I'm thinking that we're going to have quite a bit of distance here where we have little trouble towards Boot Lake. So, hopefully, we'll see the lake. This is what we think is the right road. We're not sure because there's no road signs, and we're kind of half making this up as we go from pieced together information with no first-hand experience. So, as you can see, it's getting a bit thick. Ugh. Oh, I see a clearing. Let's head for it. All right, time for a video update. There's Boot Lake. It's been pretty easy, hasn't it? Once we got off the logging roads, we got into, I don't know what it was. Will Pool, Matthew, Heyman, all you guys that travel through there with canoes and packs. I tell you, you got my unlimited, Corey Ritchie, unlimited respect. Holy frig, that was hard walking with nothing. Anyway, we were kind of here, so we've got to cross the stream somehow and get to the other side so we can get to where I think there's a campsite up here. The clouds have moved in and we've had some showers, and anyway, and it's like 1 o'clock. What time is it, Cameron? 1:30, and we left the campsite at 10, so, and like it gets said, with no gear. So here we are, we're at Boot. We're gonna make her now. So we had bushwhacked the last little bit with the GPS, which I don't like doing. I like having markers, but we're just moving too slow. How's a nasty bushwhack to find nothing?
Yeah.
No campsite, no trail. Man, again, I don't know how these guys have traveled through here, what they found, but I haven't found it yet anyway.
After we got off the road, the last section of the original carry was horrible to travel and very difficult. To make matters worse, it began to rain on us and we got down into a swamp next to the lake. In the end, we didn't find the campsite or any sign of the original carry. Although we ate our lunch in the rain, we were glad to have seen the lake. It had been a tough day despite planning for it to be a relatively easy day. The long portage over to Boot Lake and back took its toll on two weary travelers. We got back to the campsite, soaking wet from traveling in the wet woods and rain, and got our supper going. Tonight's meal was my curry pork and noodles dish. This newer recipe is easy to make and tastes awesome. It was my second best meal of the trip.
Well, we've had some supper. It was good. Curry pork noodles with not quite enough curry. We've got quite a nice hot fire. Amazingly, we haven't had rain since we were... I guess it hasn't rained since we got back to the canoe before we paddled back across the lake. So we're drying stuff out. I've got my pants kind of dry. Cameron's standing around in his underwear. Got my shirt kind of dry. Got some racks hung up. And I'm going to make some tea and read. As long as the rain holds off. She's pretty gray. Well, it's Tuesday morning. It was a wet night last night. Rained hard. Keeps showering off and on. Although the sky is brightening right now. We're still at Little Tobeatic. It's about 9:30 in the morning. We're getting stuff packed up. Cameron's over here. My pack is ready to go there. Cameron's just getting his tent down. He's got pretty much everything ready to go. We had breakfast, and it's going to be soaked through the woods. The trees are going to make us as wet as if it was pouring rain, but it's a little bit bittersweet leaving because I love this campsite. I love this view over the lake, but anxious to get on with the trip and some more playing, and feeling sore and ready to go through the 2.5 kilometer stomp back through the thick bushes. So here's to hoping it doesn't rain anymore today. She's all dark and cloudy again over on the lower part. We're on a bit of a peninsula here. It's the narrowest part of the lake, and anyway, there's a whole third of the lake down below us that we never had a chance to explore. So anyway, here's to today. One last look over the lake. We made it to our first relay spot. Great time, really. Our packs feel noticeably lighter, even though everything is wet. We got a couple more days of food gone. We got blue sky out there, and the rain has completely stopped. We had torrential downpour going across with the pack. It was almost hard to see. It was raining so hard. It was crazy. The trail's all flooded. And anyway, we're gonna head to the relay spot now with the canoe. Say goodbye to Little Tobeatic for another trip.
The Little Tobeatic carry is a long slog through old, overgrown logging roads. Overall, it's pretty easy walking and an enjoyable trip through the woods. Today would prove to have its own challenges as the heavens opened up and dumped buckets full of pouring rain on us as we made our way on the trail through the woods. The ruts in the old road were full of water. Puddles were overflowing and flooding the road. Evergreen branches were loaded with water and streaming like leaky faucets. Everything reached out to us as if it were a joint effort to see just how wet two humans could possibly get on a walk through the woods.
water down my back. Ooh, it's chilly. There you go.
Go ahead.
Got it. What?
I'm recording, aren't I?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bother trying to get around that.
Not much sense.
Hey, look, we're almost there.
Ha ha. That was a mistake for the first time through.
What?
That was a mistake for the first time through.
I know, I was making fun of you.
I know you're making fun of me. I think it might rain. Still good? It gets noticeably deeper every time we go through.
What?
Every time it gets noticeably deeper. Ground rat and the sun has made an appearance for some reason. Fun in the sun. We're done yelling at each other, so we should be good to keep moving, are we? Don't get your feet wet. Now what am I gonna do? Don't worry about me. Go on without me. It's pretty bony. I know, it's pouring rain. We're taking off our boots and everything.
I don't know where
I think we should keep going. I don't know if we can get through there, can we?
right in front of us there, I think we can get through, but maybe not.
Like we took out right up here.
Yeah.
Let's just go a little bit further. Ouch.
Coming. You be able to reach that?
Have to. It's gonna ground out of this rock anyway.
Okay.
Let's just take her on down through here.
What's that?
I'm just gonna take her on down through with just me.
Okay.
If I can. See, I'm ground out again, right? Man, there's a lot of water. Maybe she's leaking. All right, we can paddle after this for sure.
Want to get on the big rock here?
I'm thinking the bank up here. Once I get around this maneuver. That's right. Let the current catch you and flip you over. Okay, any spot here. I can't help you much though. Now you could flip us here now.
What?
You could flip us here. My camera off?
Yeah.
Okay. You got it. Stay low. Stay low. The sooner you squat down, the better your balance will be. Another rock right there, isn't there? Just to your right, right there. Yeah. Nothing to it, baby. I said, give it to me, Bernie. It is. You're right, we should have carried that. Sorry.
Those weren't flooded on our way in.
No, water's gonna be way up from where it was, but it's super low.
We had an awful time trying to get paddling into the main part of the flowage. On our way in, the water was so low we had to beach before the carry and bushwhack through bushes up to the start of the little Tobeatic carry. But on our way out, I decided that the water had risen significantly enough to put in before the bushwhack and paddle downstream into the bigger part of the flowage. As you could see from the previous video, things did not go well. We were ground out solid and struggling to even drag the canoe down through the rocks and into the larger part of the flowage. The Tobeatic Flowage is a lovely paddle that meanders through a large swampy barren. Our paddle in a couple days earlier was very nice, but we were on a mission to get distance behind us that day. Today was a different situation. We were still in a hurry, but more because of how wet we were. We were drenched. Every piece of clothing was wet. We had decided to return to the camp this night to try and dry out. By this point, we'd been wet every day for the past 4 days. We had been warm while we were portaging through the trail with our gear, but after stopping to eat lunch when we hit the Tobeatic Flowage, both of us began to get cold. As we paddled out the flowage towards Tobeatic Lake, we chatted, our spirits bright despite the wet and rain, and we looked forward with anticipation for another night at Bat's Rest Cabin. The work on the water warmed us up quickly, and we knew our traveling for the day was coming to an end. The cabin is just around the corner to your right as you enter the lake from the flowage. We entered Tobeatic Lake, and the rain finally decided to let up a bit. We made our way quickly around the corner to the landing for the camp. We climbed the big hill with our gear, got a fire going, and got our things hanging inside to dry.
You still see the raw dough in it.
We're here making supper at Bat's Rest. We've had a very relaxing afternoon since we got here. We've got the fire going. My backpack and thermometer says we have it. There's my supper right there, if you can see that.
Sloppy Joes right there. Oh, Sloppy Joes. And side the dish of peas. It smells awesome. We got the temperature here at, oh, there's some awesome film work there. We're missing all of our lighting crew. Get the grips over. We got it 26 degrees in here, and as you can see, we've got all of our gear. We got tents that were wet, as you can probably see from here. Oh, we got backpacks and all kinds of pants and socks and underwear, and oh, that's some fine stuff. There's our stove. We're gonna have some supper, have a relaxing evening. Like play little cards, do some more reading, light a candle in the wind. All right. We woke up Wednesday with dry gear and flat air mattresses. The rain had stopped and the sun was poking out around the light, fluffy clouds. There was barely a breath of wind. Today would take us back across Tobeatic Lake, Little Tupper Lake, out Sand Lake Brook, and up into Sand Lake for a night on the old road campsite.
Okay, let's go.
Crunch. Crunch.
We got everything, do we? Get your camera?
Yeah.
Cameras. Oh, that's pretty.
The morning paddle was breathtaking. The fog was low on the water around the shore. The water was glassy calm, and we were almost dry. Life doesn't get much better than this. We had every intention of enjoying the fine weather and the beauty all around us.
My glasses are even clean enough to see it.
Okay, one sec. Quick, I thought I could keep my camera around myself, but it ain't working.
It's uncomfortable. I find it rather amazing that you stopped paddling about 8 seconds into our trip.
I rolled my sleeve too.
We get all this on camera. You were out in the middle of a lake with no life jacket on. So you can roll up your sleeves.
Well, I could have done this with the life jacket.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to ram into a rock on purpose just to see what happens.
You might fall in.
Just to see what happens. The whole lake is glassy, Cameron. Considering how long it took you to get ready this morning, it's pretty much a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. rock?
No.
You just don't know what you're doing.
He paddles stupidly.
Yeah, she's a bit of a ways up there.
Hey boy.
Look at those freaking rocks down there. They look like matchstick heads. Pretty glassy here too.
Yep.
It was a beautiful morning for a paddle. There was barely any wind as we made our way across the 6-kilometer paddle of Tobeatic Lake. It's a long ways, but we just took our time, marveling at all the sights around us, soaking it all up, so to speak, as we worked our way up the lower portion of the lake, through the narrows and into the larger 4-kilometer long lake body. Along the way, we checked out a large rock pile out in the water, and we decided to play around there for a little bit.
What's that?
You think you'd go right between them?
Maybe. Watch for rocks around the base though.
Yeah. Maybe not. Looks bigger from a distance.
We're gonna make it, but I don't think the camera will. I'll have to move the camera.
Somebody's done this before.
Yeah. That's it, the camera hit the wall.
Was walking back as well?
Yeah, it's back here. I don't want to take the camera off. I have to change it. I have to loosen the arm.
Red fiberglass stuff all red
Oh, yeah?
paint all over the corner there.
Cool. Let's put her in motion and we'll just sit for a minute.
Yeah. Where are we going? Down in there?
Nope.
What?
The longest part there. The water's up, right?
Yeah.
Seems to be quite a bit more water here than when we come out.
One of my favorite spots on this trip was the Little Tupper Brook. It is always cascading from Tobeatic Lake through the short passage to Little Tupper Lake. The brook ends in a rocky set of short rapids as it abruptly turns and enters the lake. Years ago, loggers used the splash dams to hold back and control the flow of water down the brook to float their logs from Tobeatic Lake to Little Tupper and beyond. The remnants of these splash dams remain in several places in the area, including Little Tupper Brook. The campsite on Little Tupper Lake is very close to this raging torrent of water. It is soothing to listen to the sounds of the water as you make camp, but I guess that will have to be for another trip, as today we're headed to Sand Lake for the night.
I do see where we need to go.
We need to go into the
I
rocks.
say we should veer left.
Okay,
We're in Rocky
veering left.
Cove. I noticed you were steering us right into Rocky Cove. There's a lot
See,
of
left is all... It all depends on your perspective.
Yeah.
See, if I was standing facing the canoe,
Yeah.
left would be a different direction than if I was in the canoe. So when you say veer left,
Okay.
I'm really confused as to which
Yeah,
way we
yeah.
should be. See, left,
It's a-
right? If I'm looking at the canoe, that would be
it's a
left.
concept.
Is that not the way you want to go?
No.
It's-
Veer right.
What?
Veer right.
Like this. Or do you want to go back to the campsite?
I'm good.
Little Tupper's not as calm as Tobeatic Lake.
No? White caps by the looks of it.
It's a raging torrent of water. Paddling the Tobeatic with Cameron and Ed. Today is day number 5. It is sunny with a slight breeze, and you won't believe it, in our face, headwind. We must have turned around because the wind has changed direction. We found the waters of Little Tupper to be pleasant and inviting. Warm enough for a swim when I pushed Cameron in. The maple leaves are colored. So are the other leaves. Oh, and all the other trees. I don't know their names though. I only know maple. Because I'm Canadian. I am Canadian! Therefore, I only recognize the maple tree. All other trees are imposters. Just the maple tree. We discovered that the Sand Lake Brook carry wasn't so bad when you weren't pounding through trying to make time on a big day, or when it wasn't raining. The 800-meter carry follows the brook as it meanders between the outflow of the brook to the lake. A few times the trail skirts right beside the rocky rapids of the brook, and another section takes you around a sharp bend. It was a good change of pace from paddling to carry through the woods to our next put-in. His left.
What?
Keep his left. Right where we are. Right. Good.
Yeah. Wasn't gonna fight through here.
And it was. That rocks are just a ripple. It's just a run. Oh, can't see her.
Oh, I got no water on my side. Oh, there we go.
Need some help. Paddle backwards. There you go. Cameron was complaining, as usual, about being tired of paddling. So I decided to switch things up and sit in the bow of the canoe and let him do the steering. It was time to show him how it's done. When Aaron and I head out into the canoe, I always sit in the bow, so I'm very experienced there and actually less experienced in the stern. Our glassy day was gone now and a slight breeze was against us as we paddled up Sand Lake. Sand Lake is a very odd-shaped lake. It's almost like two long still waters on the Shelburne River rather than a lake. As I mentioned in a previous video, I'm not educated enough to know what makes a lake and a still water. Anyhow, we paddled up the length of the lake to the far side where the Shelburne River enters the lake. We always call this campsite the road campsite, as the tenting area is right on the road. The old bridge used to be there intact, but since our last visit in, the bridge has been removed.
It's gone.
Huh?
It's gone.
Sand Lake is known to me for having lots of beautiful fall color along its banks. This year was no exception. It had been a good day of fun and travel in the woods, but now it was time to make camp. We played around the old bridge crib work for a few minutes and the mouth of the Shelburne River, and then beached the canoe and began our camp chores for the evening.
They've come back and taken all those bridges out.
Yeah.
Same as the one back on going to Little Tobeatic.
Yeah. Shallow here.
Shelburne. Turn us to the right. Take us through the run.
I think you're wrong. I think the landing's right there on the left.
Yeah, I think it is too. Let's go through anyway.
What?
Let's go through anyway. Oh, fire pit there.
Yeah.
That's new.
Why are we going through up here?
We're not.
Oh, look at that!
The
See the
barricade?
great big signs and barricades up. What?
We got our tent set up on the old road, water filtered, and supper rehydrating. It was well into the afternoon when we arrived, but we still wanted to do a bit of exploring. I wanted to check out the old road to Dunn Lake and beyond before we had our supper. On our last trip here, we traveled across the old bridge to the southeast along the old road and went to see the Ring Lakes. It was a fun adventure, so I was hoping for the same this time, only with Dunn Lake. The road to Dunn Lake was pretty easy to follow still, although overgrown. In some areas there was lots of deadfalls to block the trail, but we navigated pretty easily all the way to the lake. It was late in the afternoon, so we had to watch our daylight carefully. We moved quickly and made good time, and before you know it, we were at the old dam at the edge of the lake. The sun was starting to get low in the sky, but it glistened off Dunn Lake, creating a spectacular scene for us as we bushwhacked down. We did find the old road that led to the Shelburne River, but it was very overgrown and difficult to follow. We followed it for a short time to a spot where we could get down to the edge of the lake easier, but due to time constraints, we headed back to the camp to make our supper.
Dunn Lake.
I don't know. Let's just.
These birds should make awkward faces.
Yeah.
Well, here I am in my tent, and I'm pretty sure you can hear what's going on in the video. So we're on Sand Lake, and we had a great day. It was we did a lot of traveling. Went over to see Dunn Lake, as I'm sure you've seen in the video. But we were just making supper a little bit later than usual, and we had a nice fire going, and boots and socks hung up to dry. And I noticed it got dark. So the sky clouded up, and we started hearing some rumbling. We weren't sure what it was, but I guess it was thunder. And we got another rainstorm that's blown in. So we've had rain every single day at some point, at least some, on this trip. Cameron's zipper on his tent broke on his fly, and the two of us were out in the pouring rain trying to get the zipper working, trying to keep getting his gear from getting wet. It's hard to, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't discouraged by what the weather has been. So anyway, we're in the tent relatively early, around 7-ish I think we're in. The rain started maybe 7:30. It's dark, you know. And I'm going to do some reading, I guess, and just hoping the rain finally stops. I was excited when the sun came out this morning. We had some real nice weather today, through the day, but campfire cut short. So, here's to hoping for tomorrow, that maybe we could have a day, just one day this trip, without some rain.